4 states' most watched news starts now.
No reason to belabor the point. We know what we're going to be talking about all day long, and that is thunderstorm activity. Let's focus in right now just on the east side of Pittsburgh, right in between Pittsburgh and Lamar. Torrential rainfall, lightning, and even the possibility of hail involved with this one as it moves off to the east at 30 miles per hour. Let's go to the sweeping radar. Look at how intense this rain is coming down there. When you see those red portions, we're talking about 3 inches an hour. That's one of those, if you need to be out on the road early, you might want to let this one just kind of ease past you before you get out there, because that's going to hamper visibility out on the roads as well pre-sunrise. Get on the backside of it up into the yellow. That goes down to about 1 inch. Excuse me. And then we got 1/4 inch an hour as we work into the green. Like I said, this thing is moving at a pretty good pace. 30 miles an hour off to the east. Now, as far as what we've got for warnings, watches, etc., that one doesn't have anything associated with it. You got to move up to the northwest. Take that off. Give you an idea of those counties that are indicated in orange. That is a severe thunderstorm watch for the next 2 hours for our far northern counties, and that stretches into southwest Missouri right there. This is what we're looking at. Like I said, when we throw on the lightning tracker, it doesn't disappoint either. That's the last 5 minutes alone. If we were to go back for the last 15 minutes, that's what this thing's capable of doing. Now, we haven't had any reports of hail, but once again, because of the severity of it and the way this thing is moving, it certainly does have the capability of throwing down some hail. As we transition to our weather trend for today, temperatures still going to be able to make it up into the 80s. And then as we put future track in motion, you'll notice it just keeps on coming through. So we've got more afternoon activity headed our way after this original one. And then we kind of taper off for Friday. Friday we begin to clear off a little bit and actually get some sunshine over the weekend. That's what we got from the Skywatch Weather Center.
A lot going on right now, that's for sure. All right, in other news, 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins' passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with a gunshot wound who was taken to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the man got into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, the fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There is now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. The Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with a June double homicide, and Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city, alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism, and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. In the suit, Pruitt calls Commissioner Kevin Allen, quote, my primary harasser, accusing him of making false rumors of affairs and harassing her based on her sex. We reached out to the city, who had no comment, as well as Commissioner Allen and Pruitt's attorney, but they have not responded. You can find the full complaint on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. With the FDA recently authorizing the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, vaccination clinics are starting to pop up aimed at that age group. And the four-state area is no exception. The Joplin area Stone's Corner Pharmacy will soon be hosting a vaccination clinic for ages 12 and up. But they want to do more than just that. The pharmacy's owner also wants his team to be a source of information for parents and guardians with questions about kids and the COVID-19 vaccine. He knows some of those queries can get personal.
Did you take it? Yes, I did, and we got it as soon as we were available. And the same with children. Would you give it to your kids? Well, my kids aren't in the age range, but they're 5, 7, and 9. But if they were, I would be fine with giving it to my kids. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's what people want to know.
The Stone's Corner Pharmacy will offer Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up this Friday at its Webb City location from 2 to 6:30. And they do need folks to make an appointment, and those under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian's permission. The value for homes is going up as the housing market continues to surge. A local realtor tells us home values have increased by around 13% compared to the same time last year. Taxpayers will also see an increase in their property's assessed valuation, leading to a higher tax bill, but it's not caused by current market values. The Newton County assessor explains they use numbers from a few years prior when doing valuations.
So any sales letters I get between now and 22 is what we use to determine what the value for 23 will be.
So if there is an increase in property taxes because of the current housing market, it won't happen until 2023, and that's the next evaluation year. Randy SANTEL is a professional eater. Quite a job. He likes pushing the limit. His latest challenge happened at Judy's Truck Stop in Jasper, Missouri. SANTEL's mission: 30 minutes to finish 3 one-pound cheeseburgers plus 1 pound of fries and a 32-ounce drink.
Well, the big kind of fun with everything in the early days was it was a fun motivation to keep on exercising, because I knew that if I kept on doing challenges and didn't exercise, I would get like I am now. But now is because I just do so many food challenges.
SANTEL finished the meal in 14 minutes and 40 seconds. You can visit YouTube and check out Randy SANTEL's previous food eating challenges. It's 5:07.
Heaviest of the rain right now, squarely over I-49 in southwest Missouri, moving east at 30 miles per hour. If you need to be on 49 here in the next, say 20, 30 minutes, if you could back off a little bit, and we'll keep our eyes on the radar. Let this thing kind of clear the interstate there. Limit traffic, because you run into one of those red patches and visibility just about nil right there. Also, it's got lightning with it. We do not have any flood warnings or watches in effect as of yet, minus the Osage. But do want to point out, up to the north, see the flashing orange? That is indicative of a severe thunderstorm watch that lasts for our far northern counties all the way until 7 a.m.
Morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, parents worry about unmasked crowds.
I'm Elise Preston with a look at CDC guidance for parents with small unvaccinated children as the world starts to reopen.
Plus, FRONTENAC hits the road to Manhattan today for the 3A state tournament. We hear from the head coach on how the team is preparing for a possible third state championship. And the Senate could vote as soon as today on whether to create a commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Frontenac's softball team won a regional championship last week, earning a spot in the 3A state tournament. The Raiders hit the road to Manhattan today, aiming to finish off their third title under head coach Cassie Rooms. Here's our own Jacob Leonard.
The Frontenac Raiders are aiming for their third state championship since 2016.
We know what our goals are and what we need to do to get there, and we're going out there with the mentality that we're bringing it back. So that's what we're going to do.
The Raiders have just 2 players on the roster from the 2019 title team. So for most of them, it will be their first time on the big stage.
It's a great experience, and I just tell them they just need to play like they all know how to. But to just be excited that we get to, because it's a great opportunity and not very many people get to do it.
We have big moments in practice. We have pressure situations in practice, you know, that where we put that added pressure on them and things like that, you know. And man, the fans were so full at our regional tournament. I don't think that they're going to have a fuller packed stands than we did at the regional tournament.
It is a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think that she's prepared us a lot, and I think that we'll be ready for it.
Frontenac can swing it, but they're a team built on defense.
I feel like defense is something that you are in completely control of, and so it's just something in our program that we drill day in and day out. Your defense is going to win this for you, all right?
I don't have to strike everyone out. I know I can trust my defense a lot to make plays.
I've told these kids from the get-go, if we can play 21 outs, 7 innings of, you know, relentless defense, you're going to give yourself a chance to be successful, and I think that they did that in the regional tournament.
Chemistry has also been key.
Everyone gets excited for everybody. That's the biggest thing. No matter what happens, everyone's excited for their teammates, and it's not like, even though girls are still competing for spots, it's still one big family.
Frontenac heads to Manhattan on a 14-game winning streak. With just 3 more, they'll come back home with a 3rd championship in 6 years.
I think we're taking that momentum and that energy and taking that with us to the state tournament, and, you know, we're leaving on the right foot. Great job! Let's go! If we get out there and we do the little things and play the defense that I know we're capable of playing, I think we're going to give ourselves a good shot.
Frontenac, the 6th seed in the 3A bracket, facing Silver Lake in the first round. First pitch scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight in Manhattan. Frontenac baseball team also headed to state. They're the 4th seed in the 3A tournament and will face 5th seeded HESSTON tonight, also in Manhattan. This Raiders team likes the dramatics. They won all 3 regional tournament games by 1 run, including winning 2 in walk-off fashion after trailing late in those games.
Group. We don't get down, we don't panic. They keep pretty calm, and they believe they're going to win every time they step on the field, and the confidence is a huge thing in baseball. I think they've come to realize now this is a business trip. I mean, we're not going just to go. We're over the excitement now. Now we have our mindset on going and trying to win.
Missouri Southern Zach Parrish has been named the Division II National Pitcher of the Year and a first-team All-American. Parrish became the Division II leader in career strikeouts this season, ends his career with 488 Ks. Just in the last few weeks, he's been named the MIAA Pitcher of the Year, the Central Region Pitcher of the Year, and a first-team All-MIAA selection. St. Louis Cardinals wrapping up their 3-game series with the White Sox. Cards aiming to avoid the sweep after dropping each of the first 2. Tommy Edman, big day for him. Starting the 3rd inning, lifts one up and out of here. Solo home run as the Cards have the first run of the day on the board. Later in the 8th inning, Edman back to work. How about another home run for Tommy Edman? He's got 4 this season, 2 of them coming in 1 game. All St. Louis as the Cards avoid the sweep and win this thing 4-0. In the American League, Game 2 of the series between the Royals and Rays. KC won the opener and has won 5 of their last 6. Took extra innings last night, and Tampa wins it on a walk-off, 2-1 the final score. Still to come, a surge at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Southern border crossings now at a 20-year high. I'm Bill Malugin here in Texas's Rio Grande Valley, and now the Biden administration taking a closer look at arrests and deportations.
And a look at our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Just a touch past 5:17. Still roll the weather on the 7s because we've got thunderstorms to talk about, particularly one band hanging right now over I-49 throughout southwest Missouri. And when it comes down, it is a coming down as much as 2.5 to 3 inches of rain per hour in this band right here, stretching from Lamar, horseshoeing through Nevada up through Butler. It gets a little bit better on the backside here. Pittsburgh and Fort Scott had to bear the brunt just a little bit earlier, but now we're easing up. That's about 1/4 of an inch of rain per hour, but everything's moving to the east, doing so at about 30 miles an hour. So Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola, that's going to be the next line where that thing is headed here in, say, about the next half hour, 45 minutes. Lightning, that's a 5-minute isolated time frame alone. That's the last 5 minutes, particularly from Lamar into Greenfield, a little bit up to the north as well. Not as widespread as the lightning was just a little bit ago, so at least it's kind of tapering off in that aspect. Flood warning, got a new one in effect. That's going to be for the Little Osage River, stretching now over the Missouri-Kansas state line. And of course, you see the orange. That's a severe thunderstorm watch for our far northern counties, lasting for the next hour, 45 minutes. Take that up to 7 o'clock right there. Not a big difference in temperatures, even where it is raining. We've got 69 in Joplin, 70 in Miami and Oswego, and then that line on 49, 64 in Nevada, Lamar at 66. Yeah, just a little bit cooler. We'll keep our eyes out to the west. Everything up to the north, it can continue to move off to the east. We'll pay attention to central Kansas right there because that'll kind of be our origination point for today as thunderstorm activities and flood watches will remain throughout the duration of our Thursday. Got another batch that rolls in for the afternoon hour. That's some real heavy rain coming down with that right there. And then we'll finally begin to clear off on Friday. After that, temperatures are going to be nice and mild headed into Memorial Day weekend. Just a matter of making sure we stay dry and safe on this Thursday. Turn our attention now to the KOAM News Now Facebook page. Which way we want to go there? That's the severe thunderstorm risk map. We're just going to roll back and forth here. I knew I'd hit it. It's been nearly 5 months since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now there's a push to create a 9/11 style commission to dig into every aspect of what happened and why. A bill to do just that passed in the U.S. House of Representatives could hit the Senate floor for a vote as soon as this afternoon. But as Britt Conway shows us, it's all but dead on arrival.
January 6th, the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now, a showdown at the U.S. Capitol over creating a bipartisan commission to investigate that attack. A bill to establish it passed the House last week, but passing it in the Senate, not likely. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is prepared to force a vote.
Why the various shifting reasons, why Republicans can't support a simple bipartisan, down the middle, 50-50 commission.
But Republicans are prepared to filibuster. 10 would have to break ranks to end it. And right now, there are only 3 who've said they'll support the bill. Alaska's Lisa Murkowski and Utah's Mitt Romney. Maine's Susan Collins is a yes, but with changes. The list of no votes includes influential Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
It's not at all clear what new facts or additional investigation yet another commission could actually lay on top of existing efforts.
There are 2 investigations underway. The Justice Department is focused on bringing criminal charges against people involved in the attack, and the Joint Senate Committee investigation is focused on the security response, primarily the U.S. Capitol Police. This investigation would be a look at the big picture. What happened before, during, and after January 6th. Now, it's up to the Senate. I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
Our question to you, should there be a commission to investigate the attack on the Capitol? You can either log on to our Facebook page, KOAM News Now, or take part in our Insta poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the latest mask guidance from the CDC has been a mixed bag for millions of families. People who are fully vaccinated can take off their mask in most places. But where does that leave children too young for the vaccine? Elise Preston explains.
How old are you? Soon-to-be 3-year-old Dorothy is a little shy for the cameras, but her dad says she isn't shy about masking.
She actually yelled at us because I was putting my mask down on the train just now, and she's like, "Daddy, don't do that."
50% of American adults are fully vaccinated and taking off their masks, but the shots are not yet approved for children under 12. And parents worry unmasked crowds are putting their kids at risk.
It seems to be a lot of unknown information about little kids and how the virus impacts them. So, just as a parent, it's hard not to worry.
Nearly 4 million children in the U.S. have tested positive for COVID since the start of the pandemic. The American Academy of Pediatrics says severe illness is rare, but doctors don't know yet the longer-term effects.
Children, just like adults, could potentially also have the long COVID. And that is persistent symptoms beyond a few weeks.
CDC guidelines say kids should still wear masks and social distance indoors, like in restaurants and schools. And when it comes to traveling with unvaccinated children, short road trips are recommended. If flying, look for nonstop flights to minimize time in security lines and crowded terminals.
You just can't throw caution to the wind at this point.
Elizabeth Simmons is keeping a close eye on the vaccine trials for kids. For now, her 5 grandchildren will continue wearing masks in public.
For safety reasons, precaution, precaution, precaution.
Dorothy's parents are both fully vaccinated, but they're wearing their masks as a courtesy to others and to be good role models for their daughter. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Pfizer expects to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization for children ages 2 to 11 by the fall. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
49 right now, just about to make its way in between Nevada and Butler. And then we've got another patch just on the east side of Lamar. All right, in Columbus, heads up to Joplin. This thing's moving east at 30 miles an hour as well. So that will be next up on the list. And then you get that little split right there between those two. And remember, severe thunderstorm watches for our northern counties till 7. Be back right after this.
Memorial Day.
The latest on a deadly head-on collision south of Parsons, Kansas. Plus, 2 Anderson, Missouri shooting suspects surrender to police. Details on the investigation. And officials offer a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of 2 escaped Cherokee County inmates.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. The rain is back again today before clearing off for a nice weekend. Let's hope. Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip with a first look at the forecast.
Got to get there first. Got to get rid of these thunderstorms. Here's what we've got. Heavy rain coming down on I-49. This particular band that stretches from Lamar up to Butler. Moving east at 30 miles per hour. If you can afford to wait a couple minutes before you get on the interstate, it's going to be worthwhile because that's raining so hard that's going to affect visibility. Several lightning strikes there in Barton County, stretching almost into Vernon County. With this one, we have seen as much rain as 3 inches per hour. And of course, with the flood warnings that we have right now on the Osage and Little Osage rivers, that is going to continue to fill up its banks. Now, let's transition into Cherokee County, picking up some lightning strikes right here as we've got this one progressing toward Joplin. Heavy rain, not as elongated a band as what we have, and let's see if Mother Nature can help us out here. We just had a huge strike right there out to the west of Joplin, just lit up the tower camera. Now, Southern Range Line has yet to get that torrential rain that's coming out of Cherokee County, but that will be next up on the list. And for our weather trend today, still going to be able to have nice temperatures, but it just matters staying dry and staying safe is what we need to have happen. And because the rain is going to persist, even after we get a little dry break every now and then, we're going to be right back at it for the afternoon and evening hours. Look at that right there. Everything going to drop down to the southeast for tonight. Going to be one of those where it's not only going to get us during the morning commute, it's going to get us during the evening as well, and we will continue to watch not only the one over I-49, keep our eyes here on this one headed toward Joplin as well. This is an impressive strike that we had there, and I don't want to say I was slow on the draw because not like I can say, oh, lightning strike, let's go back. But yeah, we're going to pay attention to this lightning coming through here now.
Definitely want to keep an eye on that. Thanks, Michael. Well, 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins' passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds who was taken to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the man had gotten into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, that fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There's now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. The Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with a June double homicide, and Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. In the suit, Pruitt calls Commissioner Kevin Allen, quote, my primary harasser, accusing him of making false rumors of affairs and harassing her based on her sex. We reached out to the city, who had no comment, as well as Commissioner Allen and Pruitt's attorney, but they have not responded. You can find the full complaint on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. With the FDA recently authorizing Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, vaccination clinics are starting to pop up, aimed at that age group, and the four-state area is no exception. The Joplin area Stone's Corner Pharmacy will soon be hosting a vaccination clinic for ages 12 and up. They want to do more than just that. The pharmacy's owner also wants his team to be a source of information for parents and guardians with questions about kids and the COVID-19 vaccine. And he knows some of those queries can get personal.
Did you take it? Yes, I did. And we got it as soon as we were available. And the same with children. Would you give it to your kids? Well, my kids aren't in the age range, but they're 5, 7, and 9. But if they were, I would be fine with giving it to my kids. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's what people want to know.
The Stone's Corner Pharmacy will offer the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up this Friday at its Webb City location from 2 to 6:30. Now, they do need folks to make an appointment, and those under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian's permission. Special Olympics New Hope in Pittsburgh hosted a track and field competition. Special Olympics athletes participated in several activities at Pitt State's Plaster Center.
The city of Pittsburgh has really been a great supporter for the Special Olympics, and specifically even Pittsburgh State University. They've allowed us to host this event here outside in this beautiful weather. We've had such great weather, so it's been really, really great for our athletes to come on out and get to see their friends and see the different people. And even we've had so many people from the community come out and cheer and just support our athletes in so many different ways.
You can find an interview with some of the athletes on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Hope they had a great time. A 17-year-old girl pulled from a house fire in Lowell, Kansas has died. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says the victim, Breanne King, had just graduated high school. She died Tuesday after the Monday morning fire. According to the Baxter Springs Fire Department, police officer and firefighter Seth Brown got there first in his patrol vehicle. He went inside the burning home with another person from the home and pulled King from the fire. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly and Transportation Secretary Julie Lorenz announced yesterday more than 30 transportation projects across the state. The projects, totaling more than $42 million, include a street project in Cherryvale, Kansas. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter is resigning effective June 1st. In a release, Hunter says, quote, regrettably, certain personal matters that are becoming public will become a distraction for this office. The Office of Attorney General is one of the most important positions in state government. I cannot allow a personal issue to overshadow the vital work the attorneys, agents, and support staff do on behalf of Oklahomans, end quote. The statement did not describe the personal matters. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says Hunter informed him of his resignation Wednesday morning. A new Oklahoma law lets cities ban guns at large events in public places, but only if they meet minimum security requirements. Those minimum security requirements include metal fencing at least 8 feet high. There would also need to be uniformed police officers controlling the entrances with metal detectors. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Spotlight on Branson continues, and this morning we find out what Whitewater Park has to offer. Plus the latest on the migrant surge at the southern border. But first, it's 5:37.
Headed towards 7th and Range Line. Is yet to make it that far, but tell you what, it's coming down good. Give you an idea, in particular, that's the one that we're talking about. As it approaches Joplin, moving out of Cherokee County right now, and that thing is throwing down just a little bit of lightning. As far as what we're looking at on the other side of I-49, it now has progressed. The heaviest rain has progressed east of the interstate. Still getting it right there in Nevada, but compared to where it was half an hour ago, a completely different tune as far as using I-49. Now, Osceola, Stockton, Greenfield, that's going to be up next. Also, too, as we turn our attention out to the northwest, because we know this is going to be an elongated affair, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning. Doesn't affect our counties, but just an indicator of what this thing is throwing down up there, and that lasts until next 20 minutes. So we'll keep our eyes and make sure it doesn't touch any of our counties, because up to the north, all of our counties from southeast Kansas and the southwest Missouri are in the midst of a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 a.m. Be back with World Watch next.
Summer's heat.
Topping World Watch, there's a surge of border crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border not seen in 2 decades. Although the Biden administration continues to say it's secure, they're taking a closer look at arrests and deportations nationwide. Bill Malugan has more from Texas's Rio Grande Valley.
The Biden administration maintains the southern U.S. border is closed and secure, but the situation on the ground here in the Rio Grande Valley suggests otherwise, with large groups of migrants crossing into the country every single day. The numbers now at a 20-year high.
178,000 illegals apprehended in April, which is a 944% increase from last year.
Wednesday morning, Fox cameras captured a group of 46 migrants, men, women, and children, who crossed the border in La Joya, Texas. They turned themselves in to Border Patrol agents and were processed, then taken to a migrant facility. This comes as Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is not only defending President Biden's handling of the border, but also planning significant changes to the agency as arrests and deportations of illegal migrants plunge. According to the Washington Post, HHS is conducting a full review of ICE, and it's not clear if policies will be reined in or loosened upon completion.
We are working tirelessly to rebuild our immigration system into one that upholds our nation's laws and is fair, equitable, and reflects our values.
Some lawmakers say stopping the migrant surge reduces potential dangers for Americans.
They've seized enough fentanyl this year alone to kill every American man, woman, and child 2 times over.
And we also have brand new numbers from DHS showing there are currently more than 18,000 unaccompanied children in the custody of Health and Human Services.
Border Patrol is capturing more than 360 children every single day. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
There in just a second, but on Q7 and range line, it is now coming down in droves, and we've got some lightning with that as well. Thank you, Mother Nature. It's amazing how sometimes the fickle mistress cooperates. Be apprised, going through the city right there. It's going to stick around for a little bit. Probably another 20 minutes of some of the heavy rain before it moves through. And as it progresses off to the east right there, it'll move toward, just kind of beeline towards Springfield, to be honest with you. All right, something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page this morning. It has been nearly 5 months since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now, a push to create a 9/11 style commission to dig into every aspect of what happened and why. It just passed in the House of Representatives, could hit the Senate floor for a vote as soon as this afternoon, but Republican lawmakers say they are prepared to filibuster, saying an additional investigation would not reveal any new information. Our question to you, should there be a commission to investigate the attack on the Capitol? And right now, 78% of you coming in overwhelmingly with a no. You can make your voice heard by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We're going to come back, update the Skywatch Storm Tracker and the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds who was taken to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the man got into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, that fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There's now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. The Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with the June double homicide. Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism, and then threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Here's a live look over 7th Street and down Range Line toward the mall right there, where we have picked up some heavy rain, excuse me, as well as some lightning. Kind of isolate in on this batch that we're talking about here as it stretches just in between Joplin and Carthage. That's where we were looking out to the north right there, seeing if we could pick up any of that lightning that's headed toward Carthage. And then we got a little bit still hanging on in the far northeastern section of Cherokee County. The big band is finally beginning to lighten up as it approaches the Greenfield-Stockton-Osceola line. We can go back to the sweeping radar here. We still are picking up some heavy rain just north of Stockton, but the lightning's kind of died down from this, and it's nothing like what we had when it was hanging over I-49, that is for sure. Now we are picking up some real good rain up to the northwest. You'll notice it doesn't exactly hit our highlighted counties, but the reason I want to point this out is that this thing is spawning some severe thunderstorm warnings. They've got that for another 9-10 minutes. We'll see if it doesn't advance. And we've also got severe thunderstorm watches for our far northern counties as well, lasting all the way until 7 a.m. So as we progress through today, you'll notice even though there's a dry patch every now and then, we're going to be right back at it for the afternoon with very heavy rain progressing to the southeast and really not clearing off until Friday morning. Temperatures in the 70s with sunshine this weekend, though. All the latest for you on the Skywatch weather app.
What's your favorite?
Nothing says summer quite like this destination right behind me. We're, of course, at Whitewater, where we are just days away from opening weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And here with me to talk more about Whitewater this year is Gerald Jenkins, the General Manager.
Hey, welcome. We're glad to have you here, and we're really excited for 2021 at Whitewater this year.
As you should be. It's going to be a great year. And let's just start about Whitewater in general, Gerald. And for anyone who's never visited this magnificent property, tell us about all the amazing things you have.
We're a 13-acre park. We opened in 1980, so we're actually 41 years old this year, so and we're very proud of it. We have a variety of rides, of course. We have our wave pool, which is 500,000, that generates waves. The guests love it. The lazy river, which is a beautiful tropic setting for those folks that just want a little slower pace for the day. Drop slides, all kinds of tube rides, a lot of exciting things for people to do, and it's a great place to bring for mom to bring her family.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people think of it as a kids destination, which it is, but adults have fun here too.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything for somebody in the family. So thrill rides, chill rides. I mean, you name it, we've got it.
Awesome. I want to transition a little bit and talk about a very cool event you guys are having in July. I understand it's called Nightwater, is that correct?
Yeah, and we've had Nightwater before, but we're putting a different spin on it this year. We wanted to do something a little bit different. Nightwater historically is closed at 10 o'clock, so really you got it in the middle of summer, you got about an hour maybe of nighttime riding time. This year we're going to stay open until midnight for 4 days, from July 14th to July 17th. We'll have fireworks every night, and we'll have some other things that we're still working on that we're going to announce later that'll really enhance the nighttime experience. So we're excited about it, and I think the guests will really love the changes that we're making.
And do people need to buy those tickets in advance, or how does that work?
No, well, you can buy them in advance at, of course, at silverdollarcity.com at the ticketing site, or it's a walk-in.
Fantastic. Hard to beat that. Well, Gerald, thank you so much. And sounds like a lot of cool things are happening here at Whitewater in 2021. So make sure you check it out when you're in Branson this summer.
All right. Thank you.
Let's start down south where we're picking up some heavy rain right now along I-44. If you're right there at the old junction of 49 and 44, that's where it is pouring right now. It kind of lessened up here, luckily, as it came out of Joplin and moved up to the north toward Carthage. So that's some good news. A little bit of a dry slot on the backside of this too. We're gonna need a nice little break. Also too, our Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola band, it is lightening up. So far we're looking at good news coming off the torrential downpour that we certainly had earlier. Now as we transition up to the northwest, that's getting a little hairy for them. It's yet to clip our counties, but remember our far northern counties are all under a severe thunderstorm watch there until let's say about 7, and we'll be back with more KOAM morning news for you right after this.
The latest on a deadly head-on collision south of Parsons, Kansas. Plus 2 Anderson, Missouri shooting suspects surrender to police. Details on the investigation. And officials offer a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of 2 escaped Cherokee County inmates.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. The rain is back again today and before clearing up for a nice dry weekend. Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip with a first look at your forecast.
I like it when I can be the bearer of good news any morning that we have. And from 7th and Rangeline, that heavy rain that we experienced for about 10 minutes, it is now a thing of the past. Now, we're not all the way done, but we're getting a whole lot better than what we started the morning with, as the very, very heavy rain that we experienced along I-49 is beginning to break up as it progresses through the eastern portion of southwest Missouri. It's still that Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola line that we're looking at, but this thing's moving at 30 miles per hour, so not only is the rain lightening up, but also, too, it's beginning to work its way out of our counties. Now, we do have another one right here along 126 in between Pittsburgh and Lamar that's bringing some heavy rain, and then one right down there at the 49-44 junction that's packing a pretty good punch. As we work on the backside of it, we see these ones that'll pop up for like 5 minutes, give you a downpour, and then simply move on. And we didn't have a dry slot on the backside of this throughout southeast Kansas. So that's our good news. Let's get into what's left. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Doesn't affect our counties, but we're keeping our eyes on this thing because it's going to last until 6:45. So that's kind of an elongated period of time. It means it's not moving too fast. And also, too, in our northern counties, indicated in orange, well, we still have severe thunderstorm watches for the next 58 minutes. So that's why we're kind of concentrating there on what is still up to the northwest of us. They also have flood warnings up along I-70, really stretch that from about Kansas City all the way to Topeka. 80 degrees for a high today. Rain's going to come and go this morning, but we're far cry from over because as it develops out to the west once again for this afternoon, bringing us more heavy rain, especially for the southern and central portions of the 4 states, and then dropping off to the southeast. We're not clearing out until Friday morning. Now, once we do, as Tanya said, we're setting up for a really nice weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just got to be safe, stay dry, and watch the flooding today. The only new flood warning we have right now is for the, we went ahead and threw the little Osage in there with the Osage from yesterday. And yeah, that was no surprise with that band that rolled through Vernon County this morning. I mean, saw that one coming.
Glad to see that big band is moving through Joplin, past Joplin, you know, before.
Yeah, it's already through.
Before the big morning commute gets started.
Yeah, it's a thing of the past right now. We'll keep our eyes on everything that comes out of the west.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins' passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds who was taken to the hospital, where he later died. Authorities say the man got into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, that fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There's now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with a June double homicide, and Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. A 17-year-old girl pulled from a house fire in Lowell, Kansas, has died. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says the victim, Breanne King, had just graduated high school. She died Tuesday after the Monday morning fire. According to the Baxter Springs Fire Department, police officer and firefighter Seth Brown got there first in his patrol vehicle. He went inside the burning home with another person from the home and pulled King from the fire. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city, alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. In the suit, Pruitt calls Commissioner Kevin Allen, quote, my primary harasser, accusing him of making false rumors of affairs and harassing her based on her sex. We reached out to the city, who had no comment, as well as Commissioner Allen and Pruitt's attorney, but they have not responded. You can find the full complaint on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. With the FDA recently authorizing the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, vaccination clinics are starting to pop up aimed at that age group, and the 4-state area is no exception. The Joplin area's Stone's Corner Pharmacy will soon be hosting a vaccination clinic for ages 12 and up, but they want to do more than just that. The pharmacy's owner also wants his team to be a source of information for parents and guardians with questions about kids and the COVID-19 vaccine. And he knows some of those queries can get personal.
Did you take it? Yes, I did. And we got it as soon as we were available. And the same with children. Would you give it to your kids? Well, my kids aren't in the age range, but they're 5, 7, and 9. But if they were, I would be fine with giving it to my kids. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's what people want to know.
Stone's Corner Pharmacy will offer the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up this Friday at its Webb City location from 2 to 6:30 p.m. They do need folks to make an appointment, and those under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian's permission. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter is resigning effective June 1st. In a release, Hunter says, quote, regrettably, certain personal matters that are becoming public will become a distraction for this office. The Office of Attorney General is one of the most important positions in state government. I cannot allow a personal issue to overshadow the vital work the attorneys, agents, and support staff do on behalf of Oklahomans, end quote. The statement did not describe the personal matters. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says Hunter informed him of his resignation Wednesday morning. 6:07.
Here's what we got right along the 44-49 junction, moving off to the east. That's the heaviest rain that we're experiencing right now. No lightning with it and drying off to the west. We're a far cry from over. Just looks like we are going to get a morning break here. Still have the Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola line. Everything moving off to the east right there. And then we'll spend a majority of it, now that we're lightened up in our highlighted county, spend the majority of the morning looking up to the northwest right now. That thing is really packing it in. It's not affecting us, but remember, we still have severe thunderstorm watches for all of our far northern counties until 7 a.m.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News Airport. In Money Watch this morning, now that COVID cases are dropping and more Americans are vaccinated, air travel is expected to soar this summer. Today, federal officials outlined changes to keep everyone safe. Elise Preston has the latest from New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Airports are coming back to life. It's good. It's good to be back. I mean, everyone's following protocols, which is awesome.
And federal officials are expecting even more passengers this summer.
Poised to support the traveling public as we embark on what is going to be an historic return to post-pandemic travel.
With big crowds expected, flyers are being urged to take steps to make the travel experience quicker and safer. They include enrolling in TSA PreCheck to avoid long lines, utilizing touchless technology, and simply allowing extra time at the airport.
While mask rules are starting to loosen in various places, that's not the case in our nation's airports and on flights.
It is a federal mandate that one must wear a mask in an airport, and we will not tolerate behavior that violates the law.
Most passengers we spoke to know the masks are a necessary part of air travel for now.
Do you feel a little safer that people have to wear masks in the airport?
Well, to be honest, I do, especially because there's a lot. We never know what's coming up next. So, yeah, it helps out with feeling safe.
One challenge that still lies ahead is getting international travel fully back on track.
This is something that we are evaluating each and every day. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the science in making the appropriate decision for the American public.
Travel experts expect some reopening of international routes this summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The CDC advises people to be fully vaccinated before traveling out of the country. Jeff Bezos' last day as CEO of Amazon will be July 5th. The billionaire said this during a call with shareholders. It was announced earlier this year that Bezos will hand the reins over to Andy Jassy, who runs Amazon Web Services. July 5th holds some sentimental value to the company, which was incorporated on that date in 1994. Bezos will become Amazon's executive chairman. Feeling the pinch at the grocery store? Oh, it's about to get worse. Kimberly-Clark, the parent company of Huggies diapers and Scott toilet paper, announced price hikes on several popular items starting in June. This news release follows a Procter & Gamble announcement saying it's expecting similar price upticks. The demand for grocery store items may continue to rise as folks head out to stores with loosening restrictions and vaccination numbers rising. Well, if you're headed on a Memorial Day vacation, you may see major price hikes in car rentals. Due to the ongoing car rental shortage, you may pay double what you normally pay for a rental. Part of the problem is the semiconductor shortage, which is slowing down production of new cars. Typically, rental car companies buy new cars in bulk, rent them for a few years, and then sell them. While slower production of new cars is hiking up prices, many companies sold off inventory at the height of the pandemic because few people were traveling, leaving them with fewer cars now. That's it for Money Watch. We'll be right back.
6:17 on this Thursday morning, and we've actually got some good news. Despite the fact that it's dark skies over 7th and Rangeline, the torrential rain that came in a sheet, it is a thing of the past. Right now, 66 degrees is where Joplin stands. Of course, we do still have some rain coming down throughout the 4 states. In particular, right here on the Cherokee County and Jasper County line, that thing progressing just to the north side of Pittsburgh along 400. It'll take 171, continue out to the east right there. And down here, just from the very, very tip of Vernon County, it runs right through Lamar. That's some good heavy rain as well. We don't have any elongated bands. We've even lost our Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola line. So like I said, we're progressing in the right direction. That's going to skirt toward Webb and Carthage right there. should be missing Joplin. See at the top of your screen there, look at all the lightning that thing is throwing down. And this, one thing that we're going to do is we're going to keep our eyes up to the northwest. Now, particularly for our counties, we do have an additional flood warning, and as the Osage, it remains from yesterday. But now we've added the little Osage in that. And then you see all these orange counties right here. Well, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, the yellow indicates a severe thunderstorm warning. They're in the midst of that right now, but that has stayed to our north. But what we'll do is we'll eyeball everything out here just to make sure that if it does clip any of our northern counties that we're on top of it. 70s already ranging through southeast Kansas. A little bit cooler there where we've had the recent rain. Lamar and Carthage sit at 66, Miami in at 70 as well. Now, split jet stream, and that usually can pose a problem. You got, look at that big ridge up there toward Canada. My goodness. Ours is really going to flow out of the Pacific right there. That's what we'll keep our eyes on. But when you get that split and you find yourself right in the middle, that's when you go, we need to get out of here. So we're going to have scattered thunderstorms throughout the course of our day. We're going to pick back up this afternoon, despite the fact we got a dry slot out to the west right now. Time we get to past the noon hour, we're right back on her, and we're talking about some real heavy rain here for the evening, and that's going to pack some high winds, even the possibility of some hail as well. Finally clearing off by the time we get into Friday morning, and then we're cruising into the weekend with sunshine and in the 70s. Time now to return to Spotlight on Branson.
Branson, of course, got its start as a lake destination, and it's still the same in 2021. And we're, of course, at the premier destination for all things Table Rock Lake, and that is Showboat Branson Belle. And joined with me is a popular face you'll see on the Belle this year and in previous years, Christopher James. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi. I love it. I've been here for almost 16 years now on the Showboat, doing the comedy, the magic, and it's a great experience for everybody that comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, 2021, as you do with every year, add some new things, some new exciting entertainment. So can you give our audience a tease of what's going to happen?
Well, this year we had a lot of rehearsals because we added in some new segments. We have a lot of new music in the show. We feature a performer. We have a special segment, I don't want to give that away yet. New interactive parts for the audience, and virtually an entirely new show.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's bring in here Captain James as well, our senior captain with Showboat Branson Belle. And, you know, it may seem pretty self-explanatory, but let's just kind of walk through, if somebody's never been here before, what they can experience when coming on property.
Yeah, when they come here, they get to enjoy our beautiful shops up here on the landing. And then you come on board, and we give you a great big welcome on board. I come out, meet the audience. Our boat leaves the dock at that time, thanks to Captain James and our Marine crew there. And they regulate this boat and keep it nice and clean, as you can see here. And it's a great cruise for everyone as well. And then we have our pre-show, our dinner. We give you about 45 minutes to go out, walk around, maybe even chat with the captain here up there in the pilot house. And then the show begins after the little cruise time there. And it is about an hour of craziness. We have the music, the dancing, it's non-stop. And I'll tell you, our entertainers are exhausted by the end of this.
I bet they are. And sometimes you run 2 shows a day, is that right?
Oh, sometimes we run 3 shows.
Well, there you go.
I think on Saturdays this year we have 3 shows almost every Saturday.
Which is great for the public. Many times to join. It fits into basically any schedule. So let's talk about tickets. What's the best way for people to get those?
Well, our shows run 12, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. Okay. And you'll want to check the website, showboatbransonbelle.com. You can Google it, all of that, to get all the information and call. Come out and see us, meet the captain, say hi to us out there in the lobby after the show.
Awesome. Christopher, Captain James, thank you both so much. Make sure you visit Showboat Branson Belle on your next Branson vacation.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the idea that the COVID-19 virus could have originated in a Chinese lab is gaining traction, with new evidence pointing to a virology center in Wuhan where researchers got sick. Benjamin Hall has more from London.
More than 168 million cases worldwide, almost 3.5 million deaths, and we still don't know where the COVID pandemic started. But there is growing evidence it could have come from a lab in Wuhan, China. The Chinese Institute for Virology was at the epicenter of the outbreak, and there are new reports that at least 3 employees were hospitalized in 2019 with COVID symptoms, before the first outbreaks were reported in China.
The intermediate host, if there is one, has not yet been found.
And we've been looking for that intermediate host, is that fair to say?
That is fair to say, sir.
The White House is now calling for the World Health Organization to reopen its investigation, saying more information and transparency is needed from China. But the Biden administration has also shut down a special State Department team looking into the origins of the virus, reassigning the investigation to the National Security Council.
The onus now is to elevate this far beyond what we've seen for 15 months. Elevating this now as a political matter, as a diplomatic matter, is overdue but essential.
Meanwhile, China is pushing back on suggestions it could have intentionally manufactured the virus, pointing out the US operates similar programs with no international oversight.
The true purpose of the U.S. operating more than 200 biological laboratories around the world has sparked great concern. Is the U.S. really concerned about tracing the origin of the virus, or is it just trying to divert attention?
At least 2 congressional committees are also conducting their own investigations into the origins of the virus. Well, scientists are concerned over an expected rise in tick populations over the next several months. Researchers are anticipating a surge in tick populations in June and July due to a mild winter and abundant rainfall during the spring months. Ticks are particularly worrisome because they can carry Lyme disease, which can affect children, adults, and pets. Lyme disease is currently listed as the most common tick-borne disease in the U.S. Aside from Lyme disease, ticks can also cause other illnesses such as Rocky Mountain spotted fever, southern tick-associated rash illness, tick-borne relapsing fever, and tularemia. To prevent yourself from getting a tick bite, scientists urge Americans to wear light-colored clothing and apply insect repellent containing the chemical DEET. IKEA has recalled some bowls, plates, and mugs because of a possible burn hazard. The Heroisk and Tallarica brand products can become brittle and break when heated, causing food or liquid to leak out. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says about 148,000 of these bowls, plates, and mugs were sold in the U.S. At least 123 of them broke. 4 injuries have been reported. 2 required medical attention. IKEA says customers should stop using the products and return them to the store for a full refund. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Spotty heavy rain right now along I-44, and then we've got another one along I-49, just in between Lamar and Nevada, and then we've got another little pop-up right on the Kansas-Missouri state line. Now, backside of it, we're getting a little dry slot. That's not bad, but we're going to look out to the west, and this mess that they got up to the north right here starting to kind of creep into our counties. We've been able to avoid any severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have severe thunderstorm watches for all of our northern counties as well. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.
The latest on a deadly head-on collision south of Parsons, Kansas. Plus 2 Anderson, Missouri shooting suspects surrender to police. Details on the investigation. And officials offer a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of 2 escaped Cherokee County inmates.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. The rain is back again this morning, but we'll hopefully clear off for a nice dry weekend. Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip with a first look at the forecast.
We just got to keep our heads above water before then, because look at this system throughout the entire upper plains. Got throwing down a little bit of a mess here. Now we're getting a little dry slot on the backside of our early morning thunderstorm activity. We do still have some pockets there where it's coming down at a good clip, and that's going to be along 44. You see that one just to the southeast of Carthage, and then just to the west of Mount Vernon. We've got another one up here along I-49 in between Nevada and Lamar. And then this one's gaining a little steam as it makes its way across the state line from Cherokee County into Jasper County, and now hasn't thrown down any lightning. But as I said, on the backside of it, we're going to get a nice little break. However, up to the north, 'tis a mess. They've got not only got severe thunderstorm warnings, but they also have flood warnings and flash flood warnings abound. Now, it hasn't affected any of our counties, but you see yellow there around Ottawa. Well, that's why we're looking at this thing, because that's a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 15 minutes, and all our northern counties are in a severe thunderstorm watch until 7. So it's got a little bit spread out here geographically. Temperatures are going to be up into the low 80s later on today, but more importantly, let's talk about future track and what we've got coming this afternoon, because we're a far cry from being over. As it gathers, and instead of moving west to east, this time it moves down to the southeast. Look at that heavy rain all throughout the afternoon and evening hours. So like I said, don't be fooled just because we get a dry slot this morning, because we've got ways to go until we clear off Friday morning, get some sunshine, and cruise into the weekend in the low to mid 70s.
All right, we'll keep our eye on that, that's for sure. All right, thank you, Michael. Well, we have breaking news this morning out of Newton County, Missouri. Crews continue an overnight search for 12-year-old girl swept away by Shoal Creek yesterday afternoon. Now, this is live video from Limekiln Park north of Neosho where it happened. Officials say they recovered a 34-year-old male from the water. He was taken to the hospital and last reported in critical condition. The search for the girl continues at 7 a.m. We'll be following this through this morning and have the latest as it becomes available. 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins' passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds who was taken to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the man got into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, the fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged for the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There's now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. The Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with a June double homicide, and Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city, alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism, and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. In the lawsuit, Pruitt calls Commissioner Kevin Allen my primary harasser, accusing him of making false rumors of affairs and harassing her based on her sex. We reached out to the city, who had no comment, as well as Commissioner Allen and Pruitt's attorney, but they have not responded. You can find the full complaint on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. With the FDA recently authorizing the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, vaccination clinics are starting to pop up aimed at that age group, and the 4-state area is no exception. Joplin area Stone's Corner Pharmacy will soon be hosting a vaccination clinic for ages 12 and up, but they want to do more than just that. The pharmacy's owner also wants his team to be a source of information for parents and guardians with questions about kids and the COVID-19 vaccine, and he knows some of those queries can get personal.
Did you take it? Yes, I did, and we got it as soon as we were available. And the same with children. Would you give it to your kids? Well, my kids aren't in the age range, but they're 5, 7, and 9. But if they were, I would be fine with giving it to my kids. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's what people want to know.
Stone's Corner Pharmacy will offer the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up this Friday at its Webb City location from 2 to 6:30. They do need folks to make an appointment, and those under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian's permission. The value for homes is going up as the housing market continues to surge. A local realtor tells us home values have increased by around 13% compared to the same time last year. Taxpayers will also see an increase in their property's assessed valuation, leading to a higher tax bill. But it's not caused by current market values. The Newton County assessor explains they use numbers from a few years prior when doing valuations.
So any sales letters I get between now and 22 is what we use to determine what the value for 23 will be.
So if there is an increase in property taxes because of the current housing market, it will not happen until 2023. That's the next evaluation year. Randy SANTEL is a professional eater. He likes pushing the limits too. His latest challenge happened at Judy's truck stop in Jasper, Missouri. SANTEL's mission: 30 minutes to finish 3 one-pound cheeseburgers plus 1 pound of fries and a 32-ounce drink. SANTEL finished the meal in 14 minutes and 40 seconds. You can visit YouTube and check out Randy SANTEL's previous food eating challenges. You go. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Another deadly shooting.
10 people are dead following a shooting at a California rail yard. I'm Laura Podesta with details on what investigators are telling us and what information they're still trying to piece together.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, should there be a commission to investigate the attack on the U.S. Capitol? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Here, the one along I-44 and 49, spreading out just a little bit, going through Sarcoxy. And this one pushing east on 160 outside of Lamar, right on the other side of Golden City right now. It's really picked up. It's a small little pocket, but it's picked up. And then as we transition toward Vernon County, right where we got those flood warnings for the Osage and Little Osage, we've got additional rainfall coming down headed toward Nevada. Dry slot on the backside of it, but still paying attention to the mess up to the northwest. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, San Jose will hold a memorial this evening for the victims of a mass shooting that left 9 people, including the shooter, dead. There have been more than 60 mass shootings this month alone. CBS's Laura Podesta has details on this latest one.
Transit worker killed 9 people at a California rail yard early Wednesday morning.
They're still actively looking for him, and he was last seen on the 3rd floor.
Police say 57-year-old Samuel Cassidy turned the gun on himself as authorities moved in.
The first teams through the door were the Sheriff's Office and San Jose Police Department, and they're my true heroes.
Investigators are working to determine a motive. Cassidy had worked for Valley Transportation Authority since at least 2012.
His temper, that was one of our biggest problems.
Cecilia Nelms is Cassidy's ex-wife.
I was just in shock because I never thought he would do anything like that.
The first shots rang out as transit workers were changing shifts ahead of the morning commute. Workers and family members later waited across the street, with some receiving news they were hoping not to hear. The victims range in age from 29 to 63. This man's cousin was one of them.
We heard he chose the people to shot, but I don't know why they choose him. He has nothing to do with him.
California Governor Gavin Newsom expressed his frustration.
Begs the damn question, what the hell's going on in the United States of America? What the hell's wrong with us?
Before the shooting, smoke billowed from Cassidy's home, where police suspect arson. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Fire crews got that fire under control within a few hours. Officials say that cans of gasoline and hundreds of rounds of ammunition were found inside the home. Authorities describe some of the items as bomb-making materials. Renowned children's book author Eric Carle has died. Over 40 million copies of his best-known work, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, have been sold since it was published in 1969. Carle was 91 years old. Wow. Several of his books on our shelves. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Whoa! I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Eric Carle. What? Tell the kids this morning, too. Ooh. It's a Hazlitt family favorite, especially Very Hungry Caterpillar. Didn't he illustrate Goodnight Moon by Margaret Hurd?
What's that?
Did he? No, I don't think he did. Yeah, I'd have to go with Very Hungry Caterpillar there, too. Whoa! Sorry, folks. When I hear something like that, I didn't know about it. I'm like, whoa. Anyway, or something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. No easy transition out of that. So let's talk about a commission to investigate the attack on the Capitol. Passed the U.S. House of Representatives, but the Senate says, nope, it's not going to happen when it gets to them. They could vote on it as early as this afternoon. Our question to you, if you think there should be a commission to investigate the attack. And right now, 68% of you say no, and that has been pretty consistent throughout the course of our morning. You can make your voice heard as well. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We're going to come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries next.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Brandon Jones, a member of the United States Marine Corps. He served in Iraq and in Afghanistan in 2006, his hometown, Riverton, Kansas. We are proud to salute Brandon Jones, our four-state hero.
The birthday list begins with Maddox Paul Robert Grant. And when you rock a bow tie at the age of 1, my man, you're off to a great start right there. The MPRG, celebrating the big number 1 in Chicopee, with love from Papa and Mimi.
I feel like you're a poet. Didn't know it. Okay, Emmett Rogers is turning 6 years old this year in Liberal, Missouri. There he is with his best friend there. Emmett, happy birthday.
Angel Ortiz Rice celebrates his 7th birthday. Angel, a very happy birthday to you, my man.
All right, happy birthday, Angel. And Hunter Schultz. We're told that Hunter shot both of these snakes with one shot. All right, he's our neighbor in Crestline, turning 9 years old. Nice job there, Hunter.
No joke. Go get him, Hunter. Deadeye right there. Ethan Sutterby, he is now 12 years old. Ethan, I want you to have a marvelous day. He's in Iowa.
Cassidy Cooper is 18 years old, recent grad there in Stark, Kansas. Happy birthday, Cassidy.
Tom Farrell had a birthday earlier this week. We just want to make sure we got our hands on a picture of him as he celebrates his 39th birthday in Oswego. And Tom, this comes with love from mom, kids, and the fam.
And if it's time for Tom to celebrate, then we know it is time for Odessa Farrow to celebrate as well. Turning 65 years old. Birthday was actually on Monday, with love from the kids and grandkids, also in Oswego.
Glenda Ragland, a very happy birthday to you. Miss Glenda, she is celebrating in Riverton. Got one more that we want to pass along as well. How about this milestone, as Fred and Lou Kennedy are celebrating their 70th anniversary in Walnut. Congratulations and happy anniversary to Fred and Lou. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com. Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Good old-fashioned Central Plains thunderstorm outbreak is what we've got on our hands for a Thursday morning. Zoom in here on the 4 states, and we've been relatively lucky here in the past couple of hours as our rain has really begun to lighten up compared to where it was a little bit ago. We're now seeing one move just to the north of Greenfield and Nevada. Last thing Vernon County needs is more rain, especially with the flood warnings on the rivers, but Nevada getting a fair dose of it too. Haven't picked up any lightning, at least in the last 5 minutes. Now, speaking of Nevada, that's where we go to the north, and we have the flood warning for the Osage and Little Osage indicated in green, lasting until the weekend. Turn our attention to our far northern counties, and that's where we've got a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 a.m. for everybody. They're in the orange, so in our far northern county, we're talking about Bates, and that moves up into Cass and Jackson County as well. And then throughout Kansas, you've got Lynn and Miami County as a part of that, and because that's where it's getting nasty up there to the north. They have let that severe thunderstorm warning that they had to the north of us, that has been allowed to expire. This thing's moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. We're getting just a tad bit of fallout from it. But now as we look back to the west here, we got a nice little dry slot. We've got heavy cloud cover, but going to get a break here for everybody that needs to be on the road in, say, the next half an hour, 45 minutes. So we'll count that as a win for today. Temperatures in the mid 60s to low 70s as we stand here just at the about 7 o'clock hour. But look at what we've got for this afternoon. We're going to revamp as everything moves in and drops down. Whole lot of rain for the central and southern portions of the 4 states for this afternoon and the evening hours. We're not going to clear out all the way until Friday morning. Now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday going to be good, and we're going to need it because we're going to need plenty of sunshine to dry out after what we get from today. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Final look at our Insta poll and also the subject of our Something to Talk About on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. Should there be a commission to investigate the attack on the Capitol? And our percentage is actually inching closer here as we get ready to close out the show. Still have the majority saying no at 55%, but we've actually seen that decrease. Started out around 70%, there we go, now up to 56%. That's what I love about the Insta poll. Updates like that for you and me on the fly. Remember, you can make your voice heard each and every morning by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Michael. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 2 are dead following a crash in Labette County, Kansas. Authorities with the Kansas State Highway Patrol say it happened around 2 in the afternoon on US 59. They say a vehicle driven by 43-year-old Jason Hopkins of Parsons crossed the center line and collided head-on with 67-year-old Robert Rowe of Oswego. Hopkins and Rowe were both pronounced dead at the scene. Hopkins' passenger, 41-year-old Jennifer Fowler of Parsons, was taken to the hospital with suspected serious injuries. McDonald County Sheriff's Office says 2 suspects in an Anderson, Missouri shooting surrendered yesterday. Police say the shooting happened Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. on Stevens Drive. When officers arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds who was taken to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the man got into a fight with 2 other men who claimed he was hiding someone they were looking for. At some point, that fight escalated to gunfire from both sides. The 2 suspects ran, but after being identified, an attorney arranged for the surrender of both men. Authorities have not filed formal charges. There's now a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Michael Martzloff and Mark Hopkins II. The Cherokee County Sheriff says they escaped from the jail in Columbus through a plumbing system late Monday night. The men are considered armed and dangerous. Hopkins was in jail in connection with a June double homicide. Martzloff was held on felony narcotic charges. Anyone with information should contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Fort Scott, Kansas Economic Development Director is suing the city, alleging discrimination based on her sex. Rachel Pruitt claims one of the city's commissioners treated her differently than her male counterparts by spreading false rumors, singling her out for criticism, and threatening her job. In June of last year, Pruitt was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia, charges she claims are bogus. She was placed on unpaid leave for a short period. The day after she was charged, Pruitt filed a charge of discrimination with the Kansas Human Rights Commission based on sex discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Skywash Storm Tracker for one more go through as we've gotten really lucky here past couple of hours the way things have lightened up, and not only that, but southeast Kansas getting a much needed break. We had more than 2 inches of rain overnight, so nice to get a little dry slot there. Still got the mess that we're paying attention to up to the north. That's where we've got severe thunderstorm watches for Miami, Lynn, Bates, Cass County, lasting all the way until 8 o'clock. Those have actually been extended for southwest Missouri for another hour because that thing is yet to move out of Kansas City even. It's a slow mover. Now, for the rest of the day, we'll pay attention out west because it's going to keep on coming down, especially when we get into the afternoon and evening hours. It progresses from west down to the southeast, and we're still looking at another 2 to 3 inches of rain to go. Clear off on Friday, get mild temperatures and sunshine, much needed sunshine Friday through Sunday.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making fresh catch with buttered almonds in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Which reminds me, Eric Carl, I'm going to go with Today is Monday as my favorite Eric Carl one. And it reminded me when you said that. Friday, fresh fish, all you hungry children, come and eat it up. Flip on over to us on Fox 14. We'll keep you updated on any flood watches that pop up. Thanks for joining us.
And more. Visit one of our stores.